when you teach passionately, and after anxiety and work and challenges and trying my best to make that person achieve his goal to get the desired band in IELTS and continue his future. And when he or she shares with me that moment is indelible. For me, it's like an instinct. It's like a pleasure that no matter how I can describe it, it's indescribable.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Master More Podcast. And before we start this podcast, I am saddened to hear what's going on in Gaza and what's happening at the moment in Gaza. And it's very sad news that the genocide is happening and how the things that's rolling out for the Gaza. So our prayers and thoughts going to the people of Gaza, and hopefully by now the ceasefire is happening. Before we jump to this episode, my guest of the day is someone is very well known in the Kingdom of Bahrain. He done an amazing job in preparing student speakers and that sort of stuff. Please welcome with me the guest of the day, none other than Mr. Khalil Alaradi.
Thank you, dear. It's my pleasure being here with you.
It's been, thank you for your time to be in the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Me too. This is the first time I've been in this wonderful experience, but I hope it will be fine.
What do you know about the podcast?
Well, apart from now, nothing. I have seen it in Instagram many times, but I've never imagined myself one day to be in real podcast.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fascinating to know that this is your first experience. Hopefully that is something going to...
I hope it will be.
It will be a fruit for the people who are watching and listening wherever you listen or view this episode. Khalil, before we start, I want to know about how you grow up. How is your you're starting your career and all that stuff?
Well, it seems since childhood, since I was, let's say, 3 or 4 years old, my parents decided to put me in a private school in Manama called Sacred Heart School. It was 10 dinars at that time.
10 dinars?
Yes, yeah, because I'm old now. With my sister. And in Manama, because I lived there for about, let's say, a decade. And English language was the first thing I learned before even my native language, which is Arabic. So 3-4 years, and then my parents decided that I picked up the language, and it's you have to go now to a governmental school. It was Abu Bakr as-Siddiq in Manama, but from that experience, it's like a destiny that I am very fond of languages actually, because it turned out that I speak French right now, and I tried Japanese, and wherever I go, I find myself very good at languages, to pick up languages very easily. Not only languages, even accents and so on. So it's like my ears and my personality is with this communication. But anyway, then it went smooth. When I graduated from secondary school, my intention was to be a doctor. At that time, everyone wanted to be a doctor. Still now, I think. Uh, but I got a scholarship in English language, and it was free. And I say, why not? Let me go. Though my specialty was in science, so I'm supposed to study any math or any science. But since I got the scholarship, it started. And there, in the university, I discovered that my talents in learning the language was very unique. I can say this because I'm a Virgo. I was born and a Virgo is very emotional and sentimental. So while I'm studying literature, it's not about the critics. It's about I have to finish the whole story and be completely involved into the incidents and everything, and sometimes cry. And when I write, when I write my comments for the doctors, it was unique, and they were said, was this from a book you read or your own thoughts? And I tell them this is my reaction to the story. I graduated, and then it was 1991.
1991.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is the year I was born.
I told you. Since that day till now, I've never stopped a single day teaching English.
Right.
Then comes the IELTS. It was teaching English from one institute. You named the institute in Bahrain, and I had an experience there. I also, before the IELTS, I also there was an institute for vocational. It's called Horizon Institute, and that was a shift. Before that shift, see, God, the destiny, I had an opportunity sponsored by the British Council to go to Qatar with another 20 senior teachers to train the trainer, a course.
Okay.
For me, it was a pleasure. Okay, going outside and there, it was fun. But I picked up a lot of skills, and immediately I started training soft skills like time management, communication skills, leadership, and I was also, yet this was not in my field, but I was distinguished with the character and so on. Then finally the IELTS came into my road. I didn't know about it. I was, I have my sense of humor, and I was mocking, what is this IELTS? This is nothing, come on. And this guy, he says, you are making fun of IELTS? A huge amount of people are seeking it and suffering, and you're telling me because you are an English teacher you think that this is a piece of cake? So he sent me one. I still remember the first person. He was a Lebanese married with an Egyptian woman, and they wanted to go to Australia. It was general IELTS because this is for immigration purposes.
Correct.
And I was shocked, and I said, "Oh, okay, that's fine." It's like he says, "Come on, this guy is very good," and I had no idea. He was a liar, actually, but he wanted to embarrass me. He wanted to make me to realize that you are making fun of IELTS. This is what IELTS is. And I downloaded, and when I started to prepare, most of my answers were incorrect, were wrong. And then I said, okay, this is something. Prepared, prepared. It took hours. I went to them. I stayed with them for 1 month, and they didn't get it. And I said, look, now forget about the money. I charged them 5 dinars per hour. And I said, look, now, if you want money, I will give you. But this IELTS, it is a challenge. I have to pass this challenge and overcome this thing. Otherwise, I would not feel settled. And I stayed another month with them. I went to their apartment, and they didn't get it, the desired band. And I was frustrated, disappointed, but I didn't give up. And the third time, more experience, and they got it. And they were extremely happy, and I was proud that I achieved this. And I thought that's it. I would never tackle IELTS again. It was an experience, but that's it. I didn't know at that time that IELTS was demanded. And it was very important for many people to continue their studies. It was a prerequisite. So my name, this guy, Bahrain is a small country.
It is a small country indeed.
Yeah. And word of mouth spreads very immensely fast. So another person came to me, and he told me about IELTS, and then it was academic, and then I was searching and download and trying to understand the system, and then he got it. So I know now. I'm a very analytical person. I understand the situation, and then I can play easily. That's how my teaching went through, very with the sense of humor and taking it easily and simplifying the matter. I just communicate with my students with all ages, kindergarten till university. So I understand the person first, and then I give. If he accepts me, then he is going to accept what I sell. That's my philosophy. And then, gradually, the name, the reputation started to boom, and everyone was talking about Khalil Alaradi, especially in IELTS. Now, as a teacher, my name was, not clearly known for teaching, because I was an institute. But in one of the institutes, I had a quarrel, and we didn't communicate well. And at that day, I was very disappointed, and I decided to quit teaching in institutes or any, because I spent more than 15-20 years and I couldn't establish myself in a place. My wife, I have at that time, I was just moved to a new house built, and I was in debt. And she told me, look, now without teaching these private sessions, we will not survive. You don't want to teach? Okay, teach at home. Some of my friends, the local people there, they told me that if your husband is free, we can bring you to the house, Blad al-Qadim. Within 1 month, the room was full.
Wow.
From 4 till 8, one group to another. All stages, primary, intermediate, and secondary. And from that time, the name was known, Mr. Khalil Alaradi. For me, I was not looking for a reputation. I was doing the same thing I did, or I have done throughout my whole career. I teach with passion, and I like to see the results, but not focusing on the results, focusing on the process. With a good communication, everything, it was good. And there was let's say, an achievement in that area. And people came not only in the local Blad Al Qadim, but also from all around Bahrain, especially for me. And I was successful. Thanks to God.
That's fascinating. I
Yeah.
never knew this. So if I got this story correct, so basically you were at that time you were working
At
teaching
home.
in an institute.
So
and
many,
then-
yeah. I
and
was
then-
kicked out, actually. They didn't like me and said, that's it. And I also stopped. If I don't like a place, I stop teaching, because I don't have, let's say, either with ease of mind and give fully, or I just quit.
Yeah, and that led you to quit your 9 to 5 or whatever that sort, which is the
Yeah,
teaching in an institute. That led you to had an idea which you couldn't imagine that could be your source, your main source of
Exactly.
income, and turns out to be a fuel.
wonderful.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, they used to give me only 200 or 300 per month, and suddenly, for working 4 or 5 hours, and at home it was my own business, so I was getting sometimes 1,000.
No, if you allow me to ask you this, what is the reason that restrict you from teaching at a university level? Since you said this is like
Okay.
something
That's a
you're
good
really
question.
passionate about, and it's something that you're really driven, especially
Yeah.
when you think about the process and you think about how you really put your
May I-
fingerprints on it.
Yeah, I missed the point. I
Mm.
tried. We were the first people to study master degree in Bahrain University. 7
Oh.
people. Okay. But then there was a shift, and unfortunately I couldn't finish. I finished the 10 hours, the whole courses, except for the dissertation. And then they give us a high diploma. But for me, it wasn't the certificate. This is another thing in my personality. I never seek labels, or like he has got a master degree or a PhD. I like to improve what I have. If I find that I am satisfied with what I know, then I'll just stop and go something else. I taught in College of Health and Science in Salmani Hospital.
Correct.
As a part-time for 2 years. It was English for health purposes. But then I find that, no, after 2 years, I find that this is not my field. And not only that, it's not completely my decision. It's like a destiny where I move. Every place they take me away from it, there is another place awaiting for me, which is better. I went to another institute, and we established it, a vocational for training. And here, as I told you there, so in Polytechnic, I had 2 interviews, 2 or 3, but somehow
It did not work out.
it didn't work. I couldn't fit in. I don't know why. There is no reason. But I was frustrated. I wanted to go to university level, but it wasn't. And when I was accepted in College of Health and Science, at that time, to shift from school to the university, the Ministry of Education refused, because I have to downgrade myself from a senior to a normal teacher, and they didn't accept that. And I just accepted. I just went through till before Corona came. Before few months, we had an offer, and I retired. And when I retired, at that time I was teaching at home, doing a very good business, and suddenly the business stopped. After being 1 year teaching online, I decided that now it's time that I made my own business, and I was successful. The name was Perfect Practice. It was clear there because I had that intention before 10 years, but at that time, with debts and financial problems, I couldn't establish my own. But once I retired and had a small place, it was still in Corona, but I was moving slowly. This year, Alhamdulillah, thanks to God, I find that it is moving, and I have about more than 5-6 teachers training them to be similar to my teaching strategies, and trying to have that notion, perfect practice. Through IELTS, what I learned that they say practice makes perfect. But for me, it's not that. It's not true. It's perfect practice that makes you perfect. And you just told me that within a couple of hours with IELTS, you got the desired band. So
Correct.
once you know what you are practicing in English or in any skill, then and you know the system, you easily can achieve your goals.
Exactly. And for the benefit of the guest, obviously they're listening at the moment or watching the podcast, is basically how I got introduced to Mr. Khalil is basically one of my friends actually referred me back in 2017, I guess, 2018. And they require, because I did a top-up degree. So basically I used to study in Bahrain and I graduated with high national diploma. And so in order for me to complete my bachelor degree, or what's called undergraduate, I need to obtain some level of IELTS, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 6.5.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did the first test, and I'm not a student at all, and I'm not a student since ever. But then I didn't get the first one. I think I've got 5 or 5.5. I think it's 5.5. And then one of my friends referred me to you. He said, you know what? There is an expert teacher who teaches IELTS at really affordable price. And he is the excellent expert in IELTS. And I have, as they say, I have no Scooby-Doo who you were or whether your quality will really elevate me to that level. And you're absolutely correct. So back in 2018, for the benefit of the guest, I had the privilege to train or to be, I would say, Kuchi of the guru of the IELTS. and I literally stay there, I think, for 10 hours or so. And trust me, the moment I went to him and the exercises they gave me, I was amazed that there's an expert of that field in Bahrain, which I didn't have. And with his guidance and expertise and whatever that techniques and philosophy he built in me, believe it or not, I was able to score 6.5 right after that, 10 hours or so. So it's really privileged to see after 5 years we meet again here in the podcast to discuss such a thing. I mean, it's fascinating to have you here in the podcast.
In IELTS, what you see I didn't know that about it is coaching, especially one-to-one.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not the IELTS. Once you understand the IELTS, then becomes the barriers of the personality. Now, some are obsessed, some are careless, some they think this is the best way to deal with IELTS. But IELTS is all about, let's say, thinking skills. So if you understand the system, then you can, and I understand you, what kind of person you are, then I match both, bridge the gap, and you lead and you get the desired band. That's what I do. And through experience, I was, let's say honored and entertained by seeing so many different personalities, because it's something real. It's not like I have a goal. My whole future depends on this score of IELTS. So what I do is calm them down, try to explain the system, and try to let them be aware of themselves. That, you see, this is the system of IELTS. You need to adjust your system to the IELTS, not the other way around, not vice versa. So if this happens and they accept, then they easily can fit and get through the strategies and the techniques. So that part, which is a gift from God, that I find myself very successful in it. Otherwise, IELTS is, there are a lot of trainers and books that describe. But the point is that when these two mismatch, they don't become as in a harmony, the both. If they, and what I do is just make them close to each other, cool down, understand what is going on and understand yourself. And here are the tricks. This is what you do, which is you should change. And this is what you do that is good to go with IELTS and get to the desired band.
So basically, you're going to see the strength and weaknesses, or I would call it the area of improvement on that particular student.
Exactly. And usually it was the main challenging questions were or still are reading, the first thing, and then writing. Speaking and listening wasn't a big deal. It was straightforward. I didn't take much time in my training or coaching because it is straightforward and they get it. Most students get a very high mark. My distinction in coaching is the strategies of the reading and writing.
Now, my question for you, how you make sure that you are up to date when it's come to the preparation of the IELTS? Because I'm sure the IELTS will not be in one version and will stay there for a longer period. So what's your strategy as a coach, or as what's your strategy in order to be up to date when it's come to the IELTS?
Now, you see, they have a system, not a system, it's every 1 year or 2 years, they gather 4 tests, 4 complete tests, real tests, put it in a book and publish it.
Okay.
Now, till now, it's in Cambridge, it's called Cambridge IELTS books. Now it's 18. So this is the main thing. I do not rely on any other books or strategies. I try to discover my own strategies. I take a whole test, imagine myself that I am in an exam now for 3 hours, and I do the whole thing. And then I see the results, how much I get. And if I made a mistake, I just go and then I say, okay, how did they got me? What was wrong at that particular question in my mind? What did I think? And there is a lot of reflection. And I write them down. And this, I keep myself updated. I also see other sites of common IELTS, like Liz and How to Do IELTS. There are so many.
Correct. It's like you mean by content creation or something like that.
And I compare what I know to what they are providing. And then I see, okay, I'm on the right track. That's one part. Now,
Can I ask you one thing before you go
but
to the
let me
second part?
let's
Sure,
just
sure.
let finish. The second thing that I am up to date is that students have never stopped coming to me. So every candidate will share with me his like what you did, for example, his experience with me in IELTS, and he got it. And I say, congratulations, God. Not all of them. Some of them, they have to take another test. And I learn from every situation, from every candidate. I do not assume that all candidates got the desired band from the first time, but the majority, let's say 80%. And this keeps me that what I'm doing is correct. And the format of IELTS through the 5 years, I haven't seen any real change. It's a system, and they keep on consistently with it. Sorry, I didn't. I hope you haven't forgotten the question.
No.
Go ahead.
I still had it. Now, my question for you, when you said about Les, right?
Yeah.
So, when you see other creators or teachers or trainers, whatever they call themselves, or whatever that sort could be, how do you define yourself? Like,
yeah, that's a good question, a very good question. Look, whether in IELTS or anything else, even in teaching, I'm a very argumentative person. I have my intellectuality, so I do not do to copy and paste. If I will acknowledge and compliment, if that's a good idea, I've never thought about it, and I just tell you that. But then I always have my own strategies. But of course, there are common. I learned from them. It's an accumulative process. The beginning, you learn, but then you reach a stage where you are independent. Now you are the expert. Now you have to tell what many people come from different institutes and well-reputed institutes. And I say, look, don't tell me that what they told you, or don't compare. I have my own system, my own strategies, my own way. You want to come here with me? You have to listen to me. I don't care if you got any information from any place. If they matched, fine. If there is a conflict that I'm saying something and others are saying something different, you have the freedom to choose, but don't tell me be like them, because I am confident of what I am providing you based on the outcomes and the results. So don't tell me to change because they are well reputed and they are very high prestigious institutes. I can't do that. This reminds me of we used to go to, when I was a teacher, to British Council, and we had a conference or let's say a discussion or a course, and there was a teacher there, and we had an argument about can and may. I still remember it. Still now, it was long ago. And she said, I am a native speaker. And I say, I don't care. And she looked at me and says, look, I reached a stage after 25 years that what you can prove to me is not claiming that you are a native speaker, and I respect that. But I have studied from dictionaries, from grammar books. I can bring you the grammar books that we both as a reference, and I show you that what you said is incorrect. That's what you can. For example, the word I used to pronounce extraordinary, and then I found that my pronunciation was incorrect. It's not extraordinary, it's extraordinary. So I took a phonetic course, and I discovered that some words, like not determine, but determine. But how is the system with a course called phonetics? So once I know that, Then I go and read the transcription, and I can read any single word in a dictionary.
Mhm.
So don't tell me you are a native speaker. And this always I argue. Many people now say, you want to speak like a native speaker? And for me, this is nonsense.
Mm.
And why? You will never become a native speaker. And why would you would like you to be a native speaker?
There's no point.
There is no point. As long as
Exactly.
now we are communicating in English, and everyone who speaks English, regardless wherever he is, whether he is in English, Irish, Scottish, Indian, French, he understands us very well, because we are talking in a acceptable pronunciation, and it is understandable. So, and being a native, meaning that you have to be there, you have to understand the culture, you have to sound like a British person, like, oh no, there isn't any, it sounds weird. This is not you. It's like this connects me with IELTS. Many people wanted to get 8 or band 8 or 9. I told them it's not chocolate or sweet or dessert. They require 6.5, bring it and say that's it. And whether you get 9 or 8, it will make no difference.
Exactly.
So why you want, unless you want to be a trainer, or you are in a competition, that if you get hired, you will be
having an advantage,
of getting. That's a
an
different
story.
That's different. So otherwise, bring 6.5 and go.
Exactly. Now, I think that what you have just said is sum up to me something, whether I don't know whether you agree or not, is that people somehow try to convey other styles of people that somehow want to change your authenticity, and therefore you want to held on that authenticity, because otherwise if you listen and change to what people think or see, then specifically you're gonna lose your personality. Don't you agree?
When I studied with a very distinguished professor at university, his name is Roy Wigzell. I don't know if he's still alive or not. He told us that English language doesn't belong to English people anymore. Now, how many people are practicing English? One of the reasons that made English as an international language is its flexibility to take. You see, the word, there are about 60% of the English vocabulary is original from French. Musique, music. Table, table. Intéressant, interesting. Comfortable, comfortable. So they anglicized it, 60%. And that made them, that's one of the reasons that made, so everyone, camel, jamal in Arabic, they take. And with a simple grammar, they flourish and become bigger and bigger and bigger, and everyone is using. And if they restrict, like the French people, the French Academy, they want, no, you cannot use, you cannot say this, you cannot say that, then I think the French people are frustrated. How come this language that took most of our words, and they become an international, you have to study it all around the world as a second language. And it's our language, we are still, I mean, and I think this is one of the reasons. So if the people are using the language, and you have the liberty to enrich that language. Shakespeare, at that time, he became the father of English literature because he brought so much vocabulary, most of Latin. Use them. So that would give a language with its huge, rich vocabulary to make it international. And that's why people using it everywhere. And everyone finds that it is comfortable because with a simple grammar and a huge vocabulary, and you can easily learn it.
Interesting. Now, my question for you, since you had at the beginning of this podcast, you mentioned that the teacher had observed something remarkable on the way of your writing and your creativity into this. My question for you is, why haven't you started writing books since you've...
Yeah. Your questions are very interesting.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, no, because when I was in university, I didn't have many responsibilities. And I used to write. And the teachers were entertained by my writing, especially in literature. But literature is not demanded nowadays. It's only even now in university, it is replaced by translation, and I am not good at translation at all. Maybe because I pick up the language. English is the first thing I picked up. So when it comes to translation, I don't see myself in it, really. But then you need to survive. And if you need to survive, then you only work. It will. I want to pay my bills, and it will be only through teaching English language as a general. And IELTS, which is quite demanded, is there. So I still have the idea. Now I have with the help of Tamkeen, I have a website, and I will have a blog inside and I will start writing. Now I can tell you confidently that if things goes smoothly, now the teachers are taking my role. I'm here because I know now they are teaching in my institute, and they are fulfilling what I believe in as best practices in teaching English. I will start writing.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's in my mind, and that's why
that's fascinating.
I was very entertained and surprised by your questions. It seems that as if you knew what is in my mind.
I believe I would actually, I like to hear such a compliment, to be honest. I haven't, I had really busy schedules, really, but good. Since I got to know you from then, I think with me, I believe this is something good to be shared with you, is basically, and this is something for your own benefit. I should say that normally I say this before the podcast or before shooting. I generally like to give the guest a heads up about me, about my background, about this. So basically what gets me involved into this is basically I found myself passionate about communicating with the people and learning from their experience and their stories. And I always think that sharing stories and experiences can really benefit someone out there who's listening, who's watching. And so when I come back from UK, when I graduated with my master's, back in time, I had difficulties standing in front of a crowd. And then I had, again, one of my, I knew this before, but I have not practiced it. So I heard about Toastmaster. I'm sure you are known.
Yeah.
So I joined a Toastmaster club in the aid of improve my communication, public speaking, leadership, practicing this and that. But I never knew that this could take me to another level. So I joined a Toastmaster, and 2 years down the road, I discovered that I actually not really can't when I stand in front of people because I don't know what to say. It's because I don't have the right confidence, because I don't have the body language that tells the other way around. And so when I developed these skills, I'm like, okay, I had a skill, so how can I utilize it on which exactly? And then I found out that I really like talking to people and understand them and kind of thinking really about their personality and dig inside their personality. So it's kind of, I found that being and talk with the people with a different backgrounds, something I enlight with. It's something that really energize me and keep me forward. So the whole idea came from literally from scratch. Like I have no idea, and I had said this in my first ever podcast, and I said it also. One of the podcast hosts in Bahrain has hosted me one time, and I share the same story, saying that I have no idea about content creation, how to create content, or how to do the lighting or setup or a sound or sound engineer or whatever. But then I have the drive. I had something inside me that allows me to go and chase that. So that's why the rationale behind me having a podcast, basically I found myself good in communication, not only good as a speaker, but good as well as a communication. And so thinking about you and always thinking about what is the benefit that the listeners or the viewers will get from my guests is basically bring someone who's authentic, someone who had a story to tell, someone who can give a value for it. And I believe, no disregard or no disrespect for other teachers or trainer in Bahrain, Khalil Alaradi is the number one IELTS expert
Thank
in
you.
Bahrain. And that's the reason why I kind of host you in the show or the podcast. So,
Thank you. Um, you brought something.
mm,
Um, a year ago, I decided to enter Toastmaster Club. It was called the Educators Toastmaster Club. And within 2 months, I was the president.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they selected me. But at that time, I was completely busy with um,
Classes and training.
establishing it's not the classes, but establishing my dream, which
Mm,
is an institute. So there was a conflict.
mm,
So I know the Toastmaster. I will go back again to it. And I tried my best to contribute. But when I saw myself that I couldn't go on, I have to set my priorities correctly. So I decided to say, okay, let me stop the Toastmaster and continue um, the challenges to overcome and establish with the trained teachers in my institute. And we worked together. And if I see, as I said, I will go back again to the presentation skills. Though I had a lot of, I trained many people to present, how to present themselves. This brings me back when I was a teacher in Al Ja'fari school. There was a student, he's an intermediate, I think Yusuf, Muhammad Yusuf, something like that. I only for a couple of hours with the help of another teacher, but I gave him, and the one who was in charge there in the school, he saw me and said, "You are a very good trainer in it." And this guy, he was good at English. He was
mm,
always reading, but his presentation skills needed some, to sharpen his skills in presenting. And once he went there, we went, we went, uh, we were late for all Bahrain
mm.
uh, for the intermediate, and within 10 minutes they give him. He was the first one in whole Bahrain.
Wow.
So I know that I have a lot of skills as far as teaching is concerned and as far as practicing presentation. But it's like my main goal is to establish the whole thing. Once the institute is established well, then there will be literature, there will be debates, how to debate. how to present, how to think, how to argue. There will be very, very special courses. I am also starting SAT classes. It's with math. I have a math teacher, but this is another new thing now. I have to now work very hard, like what I did with IELTS, and be also an expert and help people who need SAT.
Interesting.
So I think we covered everything. I don't know if there is anything to say, but it was. I am feeling very happy, glad to be with you, because this is the first time that I go back into my memories, and you made me think when I was a child till now. Do you know how old I am?
Not really.
Make a guess.
Well, if I said, I guess you said you
are
graduated in
doing calculations now.
1991. So technically speaking, if you graduated by the age of 18 and it was 1991 plus
That's not a guess, that's a
23.
calculation.
I said technically speaking,
Yeah.
so 19
I wanted
plus.
to look at my face and tell me. Well, 12, 19,
If you give me a second.
65.
That's a quick
Look
guess.
at my face and see how handsome I am.
I'm kind of looking because I like I said, I like to attention to detail. So basically 19
Just look
plus
at me and tell me.
23.
Yeah.
I'm bad at calculation, to be honest. Something 26. I would say somewhere between
Yeah.
64 to
Yeah. And you are not good at calculations.
bad. I know.
I am 55.
55.
Exactly.
Shucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big. Yeah. 20 plus 20. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about in this age.
47.
But
45.
they say what age is a number?
Age is only.
Oh, and, yeah,
age is not.
what did they say? I forgot about this. What they
Age
say.
is only a number.
A number, yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating. One of my guests, his name Khalil Alaradi, he was from Bahrain, and he got an opportunity to work in Dubai. And when he retired at the age of 65, he started practicing extreme sports like
Wow.
like skydiving.
Wow.
And paragliding and flying small airplanes.
No way.
I'm serious about it.
For me, there is no way.
Trust me when I say this. And when he came here, what was remarkable about interviewing him is that the essence when he says the age is not, the age is only a number, because he did not really find his purpose until he was retired, and then he practiced
That's
that.
true.
Now, my question goes for you.
Yeah.
What's your purpose of this life?
Okay. Since I'm a Virgo and they are very emotional people, and I'm in teaching, the moment, especially in IELTS, when you teach passionately and after anxiety and work and challenges and trying my best to make that person achieve his goal to get the desired band in IELTS and continue his future. And when he or she shares with me that moment is indelible. For me, it's like an instinct. It's like a pleasure that no matter how I can describe it, it's indescribable. And so I see my value is that English language now, though there are so many institutes and all the students start studying it since the first day they go to school, the first primary till university. But still there are challenges. still they feel difficulty. It's a foreign language, and my value is that when I simplify the matter for mothers, fathers, parents, and the students, how many students I have encountered, they were hopeless. They were desperate. They thought that English is an enemy, that I cannot overcome this problem. And yet within a couple of months, they see that, you enlighten them, and they find that, they see their path. It's easy. I'm about to cry now. There are no tissues. Okay, wait. Okay, so this is something I thrive on. I just build my confidence and my thankfulness to God that I have that gift to simplify matters to these students. And there are compliments about how I teach, but I don't care. What I care is that I see them proceed and continue. And I'm sure now, for after 30 years of teaching, how many, when they see me, Mr. Khalil, he taught me here, with a smile. That is something, is a
Priceless.
treasure I really value, and I thank God for it. And it keeps me to go on
Exactly.
teaching. That's the thing. So I think that God, it was my destiny to study. We go back to the Sacred Heart School, that when He gave me English language, and with that skills that I have in teaching, I thought that this is my path. It will be forever, till the last day in my life. I would never stop.
Interesting. I want to share something in line with this, and something goes to the credit for the teacher who really embedded the love of the English language as something to be loved and something interesting to have, which is shout out to, I don't know whether he would listen to this podcast, he's none other than teacher Ali Johar. Back in elementary school, I guess, I had the privilege to be taught by him, and basically what he does, something remarkable. Like I said, I'm not an A student, so I used to be a naughty student, to be honest with you. But what he does for me is that he embedded the love of the language as something easy if you understand the tricks of it, something like that. So because of him, I go to high school wherever, like, all my grades were low in everything except in English. And because the stereotype of the people around me or surround me, that I'm very bad student or I'm very naughty and run away from class, extra. But then when I realized that when it's come to English classes, when it's come to English test, I'm really performing well, because I still remember even in the writing piece there, even the A student in my class, they were like just literally save their whatever they need to write in their head, and then they just copy and paste. And instead of I go there and look at it and say, okay, how can I describe it in my own way and do it?
Being
and
independent.
honestly, the first episode I had published, I had said this about that teacher, and he reached out to me, and even he came to my wedding. I still can't forget this gesture that came from him. And I literally told him, this is everything has to come from you, because you are the one who embedded the love of a language, that I should not take it as a barrier, instead of taking it as a challenge and understand it and embed it. And that's what literally shaped me or made me who I am today. So if I reflect on your story and the way you love to teaching and the purpose that you find to see when others are succeeding, that gave you the laughter, the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of achieving, the feeling of being really happy and satisfied, that's directly relate with that story. And that's why I shorted this story.
I'm
about
sure I didn't mention that there are so many brilliant Bahraini English teachers in Bahrain that They are so remarkable in teaching. When I was a teacher, I met them. And we gather, and especially in senior teachers, and we see that they are working their best and they are remarkable. But I think that each one leads his own way and has his own strategies.
Correct.
And I think that with time, if they are fortunate, they will have their own also institute, or if they really want to, they can contribute a lot to this in this field.
Correct. Yeah. Now, I believe the Ministry of Education recently focusing on preparing the student for IELTS, and I see
that's
a big
very
move.
very good thing that to start with. Last year they started with third secondary, and now this year it's from first secondary. At least students now are aware of that system. So instead of just graduating and then say, oh, you need IELTS, it's a requirement, and they have no idea about it, and it's completely different than the general English that they study, because it is a system. I think this is a very good start for them.
What do you think the reason why let's say the local graduates are missing that big gap between what you will do later on, which is a bridge that gap? What do you think the difficulties that ministry could not really figure it out with the curriculum of English?
See, the curriculum of English language is very good, and they keep on changing contemporary books. And now this year, for fourth primary, and they changed the book from Family and Friends to Look. So it's not the syllabus. It's, I think, the students themselves. The students, they want to apply their strategies of memorizing, of learning geography, and what other subjects into English. And this is completely wrong. Why? Because they forgot that since the day you start learning a language, it's an accumulative. So if you only give 1 hour or 50 minutes every day, and it's only in the classroom, and you are not reading any books, you are not listening, you are not practicing the language, then your progress is limited.
Correct.
That's one thing. And if you put in your mind, I remember when we were students, that once you finish the year, you take the books and throw them away or give them back, and you delete all the information there. I don't remember any historical dates when I learned it was in school, because something I don't practice. Correct. Something I don't have to remember. But when it comes to language, it is there with you. If they just stop, like what you said, copy and paste, they just memorize the passage or the
writing piece,
the writing essay, and don't give them themselves or experience their own writing and feel proud, just to have a better grade, which is quite plausible, and I understand quite well. That's fine. Okay, seek the highest. But as far as English is concerned, that's not the issue here.
Correct.
The issue is that you should think how to use a language. it's a living being. It's something that you're going to express your thoughts, your feelings. It's something you will use it in university. You cannot forget the word chair or book or fascinating or pulchritudinous. I remember this word, I learned it somewhere, and it means beautiful. See, I still remember it. I remember one day my uncle, Dr. Hussein Daif, I wanted to go to Matam. Someone passed away. I didn't know Majurin in English or something that.
Your condolence.
Yes, I didn't know that. And once he told me my condolences, it is still there. And I just kept repeating it, imagining myself going from one place to another and practice it. So every single word that you learn every day through your reading and listening, it should be part of your life.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating to have you in the podcast. No, I believe it was really an honor to have you in the podcast. What's your last words to the audience that are watching right now, or the people who are in need for help for IELTS or some sort of that?
Be passionate and patient in whatever you are working. I met a lot of students who give up easily, that they say, oh, it's difficult, I didn't get it from the first, the second. They have to be patient, that this language thing, it's a process. It takes time. Progress takes time, and it is infinite. There is no time you say, I will stop practicing English or stop learning. You need to read. The reading is not only to improve your language, but also to have access to the information of the whole world. Now, everything, most news, books are in English. You develop yourself through English. So you will have, as I see now, management, see the whole books are in English. This is information. If you don't have that language, then there is a barrier. It's like without a mobile, you cannot communicate. So they have to be patient, and they have to believe in themselves and be passionate about what they are doing, no matter what. It doesn't matter what you are doing. I love languages. I love my work, and I'm passionate about it. I'm helping and serving people, facilitating things to them, make them, helping them to progress. This is what I find myself in, and I might find another field. Okay, it doesn't matter. You just go on like SAT or anything else. Don't stop learning, and don't stop helping others. After all, we communicate now, and with the means of communication now, very easy. So many, you can help others. A thought, you express it, might change a lot of lives that are desperate, or they think that there is no solution for their problem. So that's what the whole thing about it is this: you keep on consistently, never stop, and every day is a new challenge, and every day is a new thing to learn and to help. That's it.
Wow. What a great way to finish up this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real honor to have you here, Mr. Khalil. Now, I would like to thank you for your time, first of all, and sharing your experiences.
Appreciate it.
And especially, we identify something I really did not knew that this could lead to this way. Actually, I'm fortunate to have you here today, and I'm looking really forward to see your first book, or what that sort could be. That's going to be fascinating, because the way you describe it at the very beginning of this podcast, I found it remarkable. I find it something that legit? Is this something? And then that's why it's built up the question to that, which you really liked. And it's been really, honestly,
Me too.
I really love talking to you. I really love your being honest and sharing your own challenges with the freedom of really doesn't really care about what others think. And I kind of relate to this very well when it's come to finding your own path and focusing about your passion and really nurture what you really want in life and what you want to accomplish. And I think um, this is something really interesting to be discussed over. So I would link all the social media handles of Mr. Khalil Alaradi in if you want to get in touch with him or you want to subscribe to his educational training, coaching. Do you have any online classes in case there's someone outside
Yeah,
Bahrain?
I have.
That's interesting. I'm gonna link all the links of officially social media, whatever that you wanna add there, or your website if it is up to date, or I mean it is launched by the time we publish this episode. I'll keep it in the description below. If you find this episode something that you like, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. It does a big job.